What's up guys, this is Jared with Flow Pros Plumbing, and today I want to go through our free visual leak detection. Now a lot of times we get calls and customers are saying they have a high water bill, they can see water coming out from the walls, they don't know where it's coming from, just general concerns with some type of leak. And what we do at Flow Pros is we offer free visual leak detection. Now what that means is we'll send a plumber out to do a base analysis test on the whole entire home. We can check pressure, we can check and see if we can find where the leak is at. And if we can, that saves you about $250 to $500 off a leak detection bill. If we can't, then we have subs that we can work with and send them out. Typically that gets to when you need sonar or gas detecting. So today what I want to show you on my whiteboard is just some of the things that we're looking for around the house, how we age a home and determine what is actually leaking. That way we don't have to call a leak detection company specifically. We can find it with our plumbers and repair it with our plumbers, which saves you the Benjis. So I'm going to show you guys on the whiteboard now some of the things that we're looking at, how you can look for it as a homeowner, gives you a baseline check of things that you can go through and check off your list. And then that way, if you need us out, we can come out and help out. So inside of the home, one of the first things that we're checking if you do have a leak is going to be your toilet. And I don't know if you can see that. My handwriting is terrible, but I'm going to go with it anyways. So the first thing that we're checking is your toilets. So we had a friend the other day that called us and said, hey, I've got a bad leak. I can't find out where it's at, but my water bill went up $800 and we found that there was one toilet leaking, which is crazy. One toilet can cause a leak that big. First thing we're going to check, we're going to put a dye tab in the toilet. If it's leaking from the tank to bowl, typically it means a faulty fill valve. Maybe it's continuously filling, or you have an issue with the flapper or flush valve where water's getting underneath. Can't catch it because it's a minor sound. Toilets are a very big cause of leaks that we see, so that's going to be the first thing we're looking for. Now, the second thing that we're going to be looking for is going to be outside leaks. Now, if you have a leak outside of your house, it's going to be on a spigot, it's going to be on the irrigation, and a lot of times what we're finding, let's say it's Riverview Fishhawk, where you have higher pressure, have bad water quality, your pressure relief valve goes bad, and when that happens, you have a constant leak that's running outside. You can't catch it because you don't know that it's leaking, and that can also run up a bill for multi-hundreds of dollars. It can even cost thousands sometimes if you don't catch that. Irrigation systems as well. Sometimes people think that they have a big leak, but it's actually just a high water bill because you're running your irrigation in the summertime. Now, most people don't know that irrigation has to be set up on non-potable water, but most times they have it set up on their home's water. You're consistently running your irrigation, but you don't catch that it's on potable water. So what you need to do is ask your municipality, hey, is our irrigation on non-potable or potable water? Because that's when you're going to see a big spike in your water bill. Constantly running it, run, it's going to hike up the water bill. Same as if you have a pool. If you fill a pool up for a month because it's getting dry, have to get the levels back, that's a lot of money. You could be $200, $300, $400 in. If you do that, you may want to seek a pool consultant, but if you have your irrigation running, then you're going to want to check and see if it's on non-potable water. So the third thing that we see in our visual leak detection would be drainage. Now drainage is so bad, the writing is so bad. The drainage issues that we're seeing in houses is a lot of the houses that we work in, they have old cast iron, they have old copper, they have old galvanized pipes in the wall. So let's say you run your kitchen sink drain and you get water coming out of the floorboard. Well, that indicates to us that there's some type of leak within the drain. If it's not constant and it's only sometime, that can be addressed by opening up the wall. You can use cameras to try and inspect it. You can use infrared with heat, and that'll tell you if you have a leak in your drainage. Now, typical houses we do see the drainage leaks in are going to be between 1930 to 1970s, where you have old copper, it's going to be drainage copper, you have lead piping, you have galvanized piping, and that's typically where we see your drainage leaks. Now, if it's in a bathroom, you can still have the same issues, but let's say it's a shower. When you run the shower, you see water coming out from underneath the shower or a second floor, and that's going to be a shower pan. That's a completely separate issue, but it's still drain based. You want to get that taken care of, replace it, and that'll fix the issues. This is something that we usually have going through insurance. Now, drainage issues are a little bit different because the category of water, you have bacterial water, and I believe it's called Cat 3. Don't take me up on that. I'm not too sure what the name of it is, but it's hazardous chemicals. So if you have sewage coming out in the walls, it's different if it's like an AC condensate leak. If it's going to be a toilet leaking, just the chemicals going into the wall and the sewage going into the walls. pose a bigger threat. So you want to get those taken care of either through insurance or a mitigation company, and they can handle all of that. But the typical drains that we see leaking would be toilets. We see toilets running down into ceilings. They can get underneath the tile, go underneath the wall, bathtub drains, you name it. We can check for the drainage as well inside of the house. That's a little bit easier to check than slab leaks and anything that you need thermal equipment for. So that'll basically wrap it up for drains. Now, the fourth thing that we're looking at for your plumbing is going to be your meter. So I'm going to put meter on this one, and I'm also going to put home pressure. You're not going to be able to see it because I'm standing here. I'm going to put home pressure. If you're checking your meter, what I'm going to show you in the video is just a clip real quick on a meter spinning. So what this is here, this is a meter that's going to be spinning because there's an active leak. Now what I'm doing to simulate that, I'm just running a faucet in our warehouse, and that way you can see the meter consistently turning. And then whenever the leak stops, you're going to see that triangle stop. If you have an automatic meter, you'll be able just to watch the numbers going up, and that'll show that you have some type of leak. Now, if you're doing a static test like this, always remember, do not have your washing machine, your toilets running, anybody using water in the house, because then you can't test it. Now, the other way is doing a pressure test. And if we have we got to put a little thing right there. Boom, little slam. So we're going to check the home's pressure by putting a pressure gauge on the outside spigot, turning it on, letting it pressurize, and then we can shut the water off to the home. Now, if we see a drop in pressure, we know there's something leaking within the house, and that'll basically tell us it needs to go to slab leak detection. We need to do our preliminary test on the inside of the house, and that'll give us a good gauge of what we're actually looking for. Now, if it is a slab leak, which is number 5, if you have a slab leak, what we're going to do is refer out a company with sonar leak detection equipment, and they can use hydrogen as well. Now, those services are typically going to run you anywhere from $250 to $500 on simple jobs. If it's commercial, it can cost anywhere $1,000 to $1,500. But what this is going to tell you is a precise location where the issue is occurring. And if it is a slab leak, what we typically look at is the age of the home. If we're coming back and you have galvanized pipes, this is the 3rd, 4th slab leak that you've had, we'll typically look at options on repiping because that can be a better option in the long run. Now, if you do have slab leaks consistently, my rule is always 3 slab leaks. If you get to number 2 and you're thinking it's an older house, we may have another issue, take care of it. Maybe, but replacing it is most likely going to be the best option. Now, if you do have a home with a crawl space, those are a little bit easier to work on, and we can get underneath the house and just make temporary repairs. But if it gets to a point of 3 leaks, we always recommend replacing. Now, the last thing that we're looking for in a home is going to be the AC leak. Now, we don't do AC here. We don't do any type of air conditioning services, but we work with multiple companies in the area that can handle the AC repair. But typically what we're seeing with these AC units is there's a drip in the garage, you get a drip in the ceiling, and it's constant, and it'll gradually get worse and worse. Now, what we can do is we can take off the lower panel of the unit. Sometimes they freeze. Sometimes you get an issue with the drain backing up and it starts to go underneath the AC unit. So we can get ahead of that, shut the AC off. There's multiple things that we can do, but we don't offer air conditioning services, so we can get somebody out to take care of that. Now, we have multiple vendors that work with leak detection and can handle the leak detection if you need it past our free visual leak detection services. They can take care of any of these above. We can take care as well, but whenever we need them is typically going to be whenever you get a slab leak. Now, they use sonar equipment, and they're going to be able to detect exactly where that is at within 2 to 3 feet. And what I'll do is whenever I finish up this video, I'm going to go ahead and post a link of all the vendors that we work with in Hillsborough and Pinellas County. There's Ifindleaks, there's Sleuth, there's Leak Hero, Sonar Bonar. There's plenty of companies that you can work with. So we'll leave all their information down below. And that way, if you do have a slab leak, you know who we can refer out, who we work with, and they're great companies. All of them are great. So whenever we get a slab leak, we have to call them. Most of these other issues our plumbers can find, but also the one that you may not see and you may need help with is an outside leak. So typically on irrigation systems, what you're going to see is a leak in a zone. You have something that's dropping and there's water that's getting out, and we can't detect it, so they use probing technology, completely different from the sonar, but they can put a probing rod in the ground and listen for it, and it'll tell you exactly where the leak is at. So that'll basically wrap it up here on the whiteboard. I'm going to sit down and talk a little bit more about the things that we're looking at. I'll see you guys 5 feet over. Yes. All right, so that basically wraps up what our free visual leak detection is. Now, if you are needing leak detection, you need to give us a call. Phone number is 727-265-9639. Give us a call. We can come out, do our free visual leak detection report, see what's leaking within the house, and if we need to get it to somebody else, like I said, I'm going to post down below, get all the companies that we're working with, and you can choose from there who you want to call. Now, once again, these people are people that we refer personally, so we know their quality of work. We know they can find the leaks. If you want to become a vendor with us, give us a call. That wraps up the video. And if you are needing us to come out, handle any type of leak detection for you, we can do our visual leak detection for free, pass you off to a different company if we need to for the sonar detecting. Once again, we work with a really good group of guys. Links down below for their companies, their websites, if you do need to check them out. Other than that, thanks again for watching the video. Please like, share, subscribe to all the social pages. Helps out a lot. And once again, thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Peace.